The shotgun blast echoed through the summer night like God's own thunder, splintering the fence between our yard and the neighbors before Dad even had time to regret it. I froze on the back porch, heart slamming against my ribs, as Zachary's silhouette bolted from the shadows, his eyes wide, not with fear, but with that defiant spark that always made my stomach twist. "Nicholas!" he hissed over the splintered wood, voice raw and urgent. "Get your ass over here before your old man loads again. We're done hiding." I'd known Zachary Hayes since we were kids terrorizing the cul-de-sac on bikes with no brakes, back when Elmwood Lane in suburban Ohio felt like the center of the universe. He lived next door, in that ramshackle Victorian his folks had sunk everything into after the divorce, the one with the peeling blue paint and the wild rose bushes that clawed at the windows like they were trying to escape. My dad, Tom Whitaker, a burly ex-Marine turned auto mechanic, had hated Zachary's family from day one. Called them hippie trash for the wind chimes and the patch of organic veggies out back. But it went deeper, something about Zachary's old man skipping out on debts or a bar fight gone wrong in '98. Dad never specified, just growled whenever Zachary's truck rumbled into the drive, his bed loaded with flea market finds he flipped for cash. Me? I was Nicholas Whitaker, 18 that summer of 2015, fresh out of high school with a scholarship to OSU burning a hole in my acceptance letter. Lanky, with Dad's square jaw but Mom's soft brown eyes, I spent my days under the hood of cars at the shop, grease under my nails, dreaming of city lights and anything that wasn't this cookie-cutter hell. Zachary was my opposite and my mirror, 20, dropout artist with tattoos snaking up his arms like vines, blonde hair perpetually sun-bleached and messy, and a laugh that could disarm a room. We'd been thick as thieves since middle school, sharing smokes behind the bleachers, blasting Springsteen from his shitty stereo, him sketching my portrait while I pretended not to notice how his gaze lingered. But that night, with buckshot peppering the roses and Dad's curses still hanging in the air like exhaust, everything cracked open. I'd snuck over earlier, same as always, climbing the oak that straddled our lots. We'd been on his sagging porch swing, beers sweating in our hands, talking shit about the future, me escaping to Columbus, him chasing murals in Chicago. Then his hand brushed mine, deliberate, and before I could overthink it, our lips met. Soft at first, tentative, like testing a live wire. Then hungry, his fingers threading through my hair, pulling me closer until the world narrowed to the taste of him, salt and summer and secrets. The kiss shattered when Dad's floodlight snapped on, blinding us like a felony in progress. Zachary shoved me toward the tree, whispering, "Go, Nicky, I'll handle this." But Dad was already storming out, shotgun in hand, bellowing about that goddamn queer next door corrupting my boy. The blast was a warning, not aimed to kill, but it might as well have been. Zachary vaulted the fence, vanishing into his house, while I scrambled back, pulse thundering, the metallic tang of fear on my tongue. Inside, Mom was in the kitchen, wringing her apron like it owed her money. "Nicholas James, what in heaven's name?" Her voice trembled, but her eyes, those soft brown ones we shared, held no judgment, just exhaustion. Dad barreled in behind me, face purple, veins bulging like map lines on his neck. "That boy's poison, Nick. Always has been. You steer clear, or so help me." He trailed off, slamming the gun cabinet shut, the clang echoing my fracturing world. I bolted to my room, slamming the door, chest heaving. Queer. The word hung there, ugly and true. I'd known since sophomore year, stealing glances at the swim team, heart racing over a brush of skin in the locker room. But with Zachary, it wasn't some abstract ache. It was him. His easy grin when he caught me staring at his sketchbook. The way he'd sling an arm around my shoulders like it was nothing. Everything. We danced around it for years. Wrestling matches that lasted too long. Late-night confessions over whiskey stolen from Dad's cabinet. "You're the only one who gets me, man," he'd say. Eyes locking on mine until I had to look away. Cheeks burning. Sleep evaded me that night, the crickets mocking my turmoil. By dawn, the fence gaped like a wound, roses shredded, and Dad was out there with coffee, surveying the damage like a general after battle. "Won't happen again," he muttered when I shuffled out for breakfast. Mom shot me a look, pleading, silent, "Let it go." But I couldn't. School started in weeks. Freedom loomed. Yet Zachary's kiss lingered, a brand on my soul. 2 days passed in radio silence. Dad tripled his shifts at the shop, barking orders like a drill sergeant, while Mom tiptoed around the house, humming old hymns to fill the void. I mowed lawns for cash, avoiding the Hayes place, but every rumble of that truck had me glancing up, hope warring with dread. On the third afternoon, as thunderheads bruised the sky, he appeared not at the fence, but at the edge of our driveway, toolbox in hand. "Heard your old Chevy's coughing," he called, voice casual as if he hadn't dodged buckshot. Dad's truck was gone. Mom was at her shift at the diner. I wiped sweat from my brow, throat dry. "Yeah. Timing belt? Probably." He nodded, that lopsided smile cracking through, and just like that, we were under the hood, elbows deep in engine grease, the storm holding off like it knew we needed this. His shoulder brushed mine, electric, and I tensed, waiting for the punchline. Instead, he straightened, wiping his hands on his jeans. "About the other night, don't." My voice cracked, sharper than intended. "Dad's on a warpath. He called you." I couldn't say it. Zachary's jaw tightened, blue eyes storm-dark. "I know what he called me. What he thinks I am." He stepped closer, heat radiating off him like the engine we just silenced. "But Nikki, that kiss, that was real. You felt it too." "I did. God, I did." But the words stuck, tangled in fear and loyalty and the weight of a lifetime in this town where whispers could bury you. Rain started then, fat drops splattering the gravel, and he grabbed my hand, firm, unyielding, pulling me toward the oak. "Come on. We need to talk." Under the branches, leaves whispering secrets, he leaned in, forehead to mine. "I'm not sorry. And I'm not running. Not from this." His lips ghosted my jaw. "Promise." And I shattered, kissing him fierce, rain mingling with tears I didn't know I'd shed. It was messy, desperate, hands clutching wet shirts, bodies pressing like we'd drown otherwise. When we broke apart, gasping, he grinned through the downpour. "That's my boy." We didn't hear Mom's car until it was too late. She pulled up, wipers slashing, and froze at the sight, us, soaked and tangled, undeniable. Her face crumpled, not in shock, but sorrow. "Oh, Nikki," she whispered, hurrying inside without a word. Zachary squeezed my hand once, then slipped away, leaving me to face the reckoning alone. Dinner that night was a minefield. Dad shoveled meatloaf like it offended him, Mom picking at her peas, me staring at my plate, pulse still racing from the rain-soaked rebellion. The silence stretched until it snapped. "Saw your little friend today," Mom said softly, eyes on Dad. His fork clattered. "What the hell does that mean, Ellen?" She met his gaze, steady for once. "Means our boy's got a heart, Tom. And it's breaking yours wide open." He exploded, chair scraping back, accusations flying, about Zachary's deviant ways. The family curse, how it had ruined me, the town, everything. I sat there, fists clenched under the table, until I couldn't anymore. "Stop. You don't know him. You never did." The words erupted, venom and truth. Dad's face twisted, hurt flashing before rage swallowed it. "Boy, you listen here." "No," I shoved back, storming out into the muggy night. The oak loomed, a sentinel, and I climbed it without thinking, dropping into Zachary's yard like a thief in my own life. He was on the porch, sketchpad abandoned, worry etching his features. "Nicky, what happened?" I collapsed beside him, burying my face in his chest, the scent of turpentine and rain grounding me. "Everything. And nothing." He held me then, strong arms a harbor, murmuring nonsense about stars and dreams until my sobs eased. That was the first night I stayed, curled on his lumpy couch, his heartbeat my lullaby, the world outside fading to irrelevance. But mornings come cruel in Elmwood. Dad's pounding on the door at dawn yanked me awake. Zachary's mom, wild-haired Rita, answering with a shotgun of her own. "Easy, Tom. Boys'll be boys." Dad's roar shook the walls. "Send him out, Rita, or I'll call the cops on your squatters." Squatters, his latest slur for the artists Rita boarded, crashing in the attic after gigs in Cleveland. I dressed in a haze, Zachary's kiss lingering on my lips like contraband. "This isn't over," he vowed, slipping me a sketch, us under the oak, rendered in charcoal strokes of longing. I nodded, throat tight, and faced the music. Back home, Dad waited in the living room, arms crossed like a barricade. "Pack your shit. You're staying with your aunt in Akron till college." Mom hovered, tears silent. I laughed, bitter. "Running me off? That's your fix. It's protection, son." His voice cracked, the first real emotion breaking through. "That boy's gonna drag you down. Seen it before." "With who?" I demanded, but he turned away, ghosts in his eyes. The betrayal stung, not just his hatred, but the lie beneath it, buried deep. Aunt Clara's place was a sterile apartment above a laundromat, all beige walls and microwave dinners. I spent days in a fog, texting Zachary stolen moments. "Miss your chaos," his replies fire. "Come back. We'll burn it all down." But Dad's shadow loomed. He drove me to orientation, silent sentinel, while Mom sent care packages laced with guilt. Weeks blurred. OSU's campus buzzed with possibility, dorm parties, lectures on Keats that made my soul ache, but Elmwood pulled like gravity. Zachary's texts turned frantic. "Rita's sick. Need you." Heart in my throat. I borrowed a beater from a roommate and floored it home one crisp October night. He met me at the gate, thinner, eyes hollow. "Cancer," he said flatly, hugging me fierce. "Stage 3. Docs give her months." Rita, vibrant Rita with her tie-dye and tarot cards, reduced to hospital gowns and chemo haze. We sat vigil in her room, holding her hand as machines beeped elegies, Zachary sketching her sleeping face to keep from shattering. In those stolen hours, our bond deepened, nights in his childhood room, posters peeling, bodies entwining with a tenderness born of loss. "Love you, Nikki," he whispered once, tracing my collarbone. I echoed it back, meaning every syllable, the word a bridge over the abyss. But Dad found out. Of course he did. Small towns whisper louder than screams. He showed up at the hospital, face ashen, pulling me into the hall. "This ends now." "He's poison, always was." "Why?" I begged, voice breaking. "What did he do to you?" Silence stretched, then crumbled. "His father, Jack Hayes, slept with your aunt, back when she was engaged to me. Left her broken, me raging. Zachary's the spitting image. Every time I see him, it's that knife twist." The betrayal landed like a gut punch. Not Zachary's, but Dad's, hoarding hate for a ghost, poisoning us all. "That's not on him," I choked. "Let it go." He couldn't. Not then. But as winter bit Elmwood, Rita faded, her funeral a riot of color and keens. Zachary stood stoic, me his anchor, and in the graveyard chill, under evergreens dusted white, he broke, sobbing into my shoulder, our love a defiant flame. Spring thawed the ground but not the rift. Dad's ultimatum hung like frost. Stay away, or lose the scholarship he'd earned through shop connections. I balanced on a knife's edge, classes devouring days, nights driving the hour back to Zachary, our reunions fevered, bodies mapping forgiveness in the dark. His attic room became sanctuary, canvases leaning like witnesses, abstracts of rage and release, one portrait of Dad's shotgun fence, titled Barriers. "You're killing yourself," Zachary murmured one dawn, as I shrugged into yesterday's shirt, stubble shadowing his jaw. Sun slanted through grimy panes, gilding his ink. A compass rose on his forearm, needle pointing true. This back and forth. It's not sustainable. I kissed his temple, tasting salt. "Nather's losing you, but doubt not." OSU's Queer Alliance meetings open doors. Friends like Jamal, with his easy activism, and Theo, who dragged me to pride flags waving in the wind. They saw my divided heart, warned of burnout. "Love shouldn't feel like war, Nick," Theo said over campus coffee, rainbow pin glinting. Yet war it was. Dad escalated, tailing my drives home, once cornering Zachary at the flea market where he hawked prints. I arrived to shouts, Dad's meaty fist in Zachary's collar. "Stay the hell from my son," Zachary shoved back, wild-eyed. "He's a man, Tom, not your property." Punches flew, blood blooming on Zachary's lip before I wedged between. Screaming, "Enough!" We tumbled into my car, Zachary spitting crimson onto the dash. "Your dad's unhinged." I drove in silence, fury and shame churning. At his place, I cleaned him up with hydrogen peroxide, his flinch echoing mine. "He hates what I am," I whispered, dabbing the split. "Hates us," Zachary cupped my face, thumb tracing my lip. "Or loves you too much to see you're already gone." We made love then, slow and shattering, reclaiming what violence stole. Afterward, tangled in sheets, he confessed, "Got an offer. Gallery in Philly wants my work. Full show. Advance." My heart soared, then sank. "When?" "Month's end." His eyes searched mine. "Come with me." The dream unfurled. Cobblestone streets, his art lighting galleries, us building a life unscarred by Elmwood's judgments. But roots tangled deep. Mom's quiet pleas, Dad's unspoken plea beneath the rage. I can't just vanish, I said, voice small. Not without trying. He nodded, but the seed cracked, betrayal's first whisper. I returned to campus, burying myself in midterms, but Zachary's texts cooled, busy with prep. I drove up weekends, finding him distant, sketches frantic. One night, rain lashing the truck. I pressed, "What's eating you?" He lit a smoke, window cracked to vent the haze. Rita's estate, debts piling. This Philly thing is a lifeline. But if you bail, hurt flickered, unspoken, I'll break. I won't, both sworn, but fate laughed. Dad cornered Mom that week, voice carrying through thin walls. He's throwing it away for that freak. Mom's reply, fierce, our boy's gay. Tom. Deal with it, or lose him forever. I overheard from the hall, frozen. Dad's silence roared louder than any blast. Resignation. We're scheming. Next visit home. He was waiting, not with anger, but olive branch. A six-pack on the porch, eyes red-rimmed. Sit, son. We talk. Beers cracked, crickets chirping truce. He spoke haltingly of Jack Hayes, the affair that gutted him young, how Zachary's face reopened scars. Thought I was protecting you, but seeing you, hollowed out, kills me worse. Tears tracked his stubble. My throat closed. I love him, Dad. Can't change that. He nodded, slow. Then fight for it. But smart. Don't let hate win. It wasn't absolution, but a door cracked, humanity peeking through the armor. Emboldened, I planned. Tell the dean about the commute. Transfer credits to Philly's art scene. Zachary beamed when I shared, pulling me into a dance in his empty living room. Radio crooning Dylan. Our story. Nikki. It's just starting, but stories twist. Mid-May, I arrived unannounced. He'd given me turning easy. Laughter spilled from the kitchen. Feminine. Lilting. There was Lena, gallery scout from Philly. Sleek black hair, curves in a sundress, her hand on his arm as they pored over contracts. Zach, this piece, revolutionary, she purred, oblivious to my shadow in the door. He startled, color draining. Nikki, early bird. Lena smiled, extending a hand. You must be the muse. He's raved. Polite lies soured my gut. That night, alone in the truck, I confronted. She's into you, Zachary sighed, running hands through his hair. It's business. Nothing more. Looked cozy, insecurity clawed, born of Dad's echoes. He leaned close, breath warm. Only you, idiot. Kiss sealed it, but doubt lingered like smoke. Graduation loomed. OSU's ceremony a blur of caps and cheers. Dad showed, suit starched, clapping loudest as I crossed the stage. Mom hugged fierce, whispering, proud, baby, post-party. He pulled me aside, heard about Philly. If it's real, go. But know you got a home here. Tears pricked, bridges mending, fragile. Back at Zach's, euphoria peaked. We packed boxes, dreaming aloud. Loft apartment, his shows, my graphic design gig. Lovemaking that night was worship, bodies arching, vows etched in sweat. Then betrayal struck, swift as summer storm. June 1st, dawn breaking gold. I woke to his phone buzzing. Snuck a glance. Text from Lena. Last night was magic. When again, photos attached, them, tangled in sheets. her lipstick on his collar in a bar's dim glow. Heart pulverized, I dressed silent, fleeing to the oak, our tree, now mocking. He found me at noon, frantic. Nikki, wait, it's not. Saw the pics, voice steel, but cracking. How long? Once. Stupid. Drunk after the scout meeting. Swore it'd end there. His eyes pleaded. But I saw Dad's ghost. The knife twist. Business. You said. Please. I love you. Kneeling in dirt. Hands grasping. But trust. Once shattered. Bleeds slow. Need space. I choked. Driving away. World blurring through tears. Philly called him without me. He went. Gallery humming. But texts pleaded, come. Fix this. I hold in Aunt Clara's. Jobless. Adrift. Mom visited. Bearing pie and truth. Your dad's seeing a counselor. For you. For him, Dad. In therapy, the man who'd blasted fences. Now unpacking demons. Human, after all. Weeks bled. Jamal dragged me to Pride. Rainbow rivers in Columbus streets. Drums pounding freedom. Amid floats and feathers, I danced, grief loosening. Called Zachary. Miss you. But hurt. Fight for us? He echoed my old words. I'm waiting. Climax brewed that July 4th, Elmwood's fireworks a powder keg. Dad invited him to the block party. Tentative truce. Zachary arrived. Sun-kissed from city jaunts. Nerves electric. We circled each other under string lights. Polite as strangers. Until Dad clapped his back. Welcome, son. The word son unlocked floodgates. Later, by the fire pit, sparks dancing, he pulled me aside. Forgive me, voice raw, eyes mirrors of regret. Not yet, but when his lips brushed mine, tentative, the dam broke, kissing deep, world fading to flame and forgiveness. Cheers erupted, someone who'd seen. Dad watched from afar, nod subtle, approval hard won. But stories scar. Lena's shadow lingered, her calls to him, insistent. One night, post-truce barbecue, I overheard, Zach, the show's blowing up. We need you here, us. The knife twisted anew. Confrontation exploded in his attic. Boxes half-packed for Philly. Choose, I demanded, voice thunder. Me or the lie, he paced, tormented. It's art. Nikki, my dream. She's part of it. She's part of you. Betrayal's echo. Dad's hate reborn in reverse. Go then. But don't come back. He left at dawn. Truck rumbling farewell. I shattered, sobbing in the oak's crook. Branches clawing like accusations. Autumn stripped Elmwood bare. Leaves carpeting streets like confetti from a funeral. I enrolled in community college, graphic design, safe harbor, days blurring in pixels and print. Dad softened, our talks tentative bridges. Him sharing marine stories laced with vulnerability, me admitting the ache of loss. Love's a battlefield, son, he'd say over beers, eyes distant. But worth the wounds. Mom beamed at our fragile peace. Her diner shifts lighter, humming show tunes again. Zachary's absence echoed. A ghost in every mural splashed across Philly feeds, his name buzzing in art circles. I followed from afar. Instagram grids of gallery openings, him in sharp jackets, Lena's arm looped possessive. Caption stung, with my muse Philly nights. Blocked him one tear-streaked evening, but unblocked by morning, Masochism's pull. Jamal noticed the hollows under my eyes. Prescribed road trip. Clear the cobwebs. Whitaker. We hit the Ohio River Trail. Kayaks slicing fog. His laughter pulling mine free. You're more than this heartbreak, he said. Paddling tandem. Queer kings don't pine, they reign. Theo joined via text. Pride in Pittsburgh? Bring the crown. I went. Floats thundering bass. Bodies a kaleidoscope of bold. Hooked up once. A bearded barista with kind hands. But it fizzled. Zachary's touched the yardstick no one met. Winter gripped tight. Dad's shop snowed in. Forcing family dinners that veered from stilted to stories. He confessed more. Jack Hayes not just a rival, but a mirror, both Marines. Both broken by war's ghosts. The affair a desperate grasp at feeling alive. Hated the boy for reminding me I chose wrong. Stayed. Built this life. But lost pieces. His hand on mine. Calloused and sure. Don't lose yours chasing mine. Healing trickled. I designed logos for local shops. One for Rita's old co-op. Tie-dye tees with her tarot motifs. Proceeds to cancer funds. Unveiling night. The hall swelled with neighbors. Dad toasting awkward. To Rita. And second chances. Zachary's mom would have grinned. Wild and free. Spring bloomed treacherous. Philly show closed triumphant. Reviews raving raw emotion. Fractured beauty. Card arrived. No return. Saw your designs. Proud. Z. Heart stuttered. I wrote back. Unsent. Miss your chaos. Instead. Drove east one impulsive May dawn. City skyline piercing clouds like accusations. Philly thrummed. Cobblestones slick with rain. Murals exploding color. Found his loft via old GPS pin. Industrial chic. Canvases towering. Knocked. Pulse hammering. He opened. Paint smeared. Eyes widening. Nikki. Missed my way. Lame. But true. He pulled me in. Door clicking shut on the world. Tour rushed. Skylights flooding art. His bed unmade. Lena's perfume faint ghost. She's traveling. Scout now. Not. He trailed. Searching my face. We talked. Hours spilling like wine. His doubts in the spotlight. My growth in the quiet. Felt like drowning without you, he admitted. Fingers tracing my knuckles. Lena was escape. Not anchor. Forgive that easy? I teased. But leaned in. Lips brushing. Heat ignited. Slow burn to blaze, clothes shedding. Bodies rediscovering maps. Afterward. Tangled. He whispered. Stay. Temptation coiled. Trying to catch up. Days blurred. Studio sessions. Me sketching thumbnails for his next series. Nights wandering cheesesteaks and stars. Lena called once professional. Cool. He hung up mid-sentence. Choosing. But Elmwood tugged. Dad's texts. Shop slow. Could use your eye. Mom. Pride float needs designer. Guilt gnawed. This bubble. Idyllic. But untethered. One night. Post-gallery crawl. Buzzed on craft beer. Truth erupted. I can't uproot again. Roots matter. His face fell. Walls rising. So Philly's the fling now? Know us. Balanced. Plea hung. But fracture widened. He stormed out. Slamming rain-slick streets. I chased. Cornering him under a neon sign. Broken Hearts Anonymous. Zach. Wait. Why? You choose ghosts every time. Hurt-laced venom, betrayal's boomerang. Dad's hate. Now your balance? Pick a side. I pick us. Shout echoed, drawing stairs. He softened, pulling me into alley shadow, kiss bruising. Then fight, promise made, but summer scorched doubts. Back in Ohio weekends, Dad eyed my city glow new boots, faint accent shift with wary pride. Happy? He'd ask, tools clinking. Yeah, I'd lie. Zachary's calls growing sparse, show prep killing me. Climax brewed Labor Day Elmwood Fair, lights strung like fireflies. Dad entered his restored '67 Mustang, me detailing it chrome bright. Zachary surprised, drove in unannounced, duffel slung, grin wicked. Thought I'd crash the party. Town buzzed, whispers of the artist back. Dad's nod stiff but civil. We wandered midway, cotton candy sticky, Ferris wheel creaking ascent. The top, city lights winking distant. He proposed not ring, but vow, move with me. Halftime. We'll make it work. Heart soared, but fear whispered. Dad's fragile peace? Mom's worry lines? Below, fairgoers milled, oblivious. Yes, I breathed, kissing him as the wheel dipped. Fireworks burst, ironic prelude. Grounded, we found Dad by the Mustang, face thunderous. Not at us, but a flyer clutched. Philly Gallery exclusive, Hayes and Whitaker collab? Lena's doing Scout's ploy, twisting our sketches into scandal bait. This true, Dad demanded, voice low. Zachary bristled. Business pitch. Nothing signed. Dad's eyes bored mine. Son, truth spilled. The compromise, the love. He deflated, flyer crumpling. Proud. But careful, world choose dreamers. Embrace awkward, but real man to man. Betrayal's shadow lingered. Next week, Philly. Lena waited at the loft. Documents splayed, her smile serpent sweet. Zach's vision needs this, our vision. Photos from the fair. Us kissing, pinned like evidence. Leverage, she cooed. Sign, or it leaks. Small town buries queers. Rage boiled. Zachary, entering, froze. What the fuck? Lena, protecting us. Her eyes flicked to me, dismissive. He tore the pics. Voice steel, get out. We're done. She slithered away, venom trailing. But damage seeped. Leaks hit local forums. Whitaker boy in scandal. Dad called. Calm. Ignore noise. You're my son. Yet whispers stung. Old hatred stirring. We hunkered. Fortifying joint statement online. Art as armor. My designs went viral, rainbow Mustangs roaring pride. Town split. Allies rallying. Bigots sneering. Climax peaked homecoming game. Halftime. Under lights. Zachary on Jumbotron. This town's got heart. And mine's here with Nick. Crowd roar split, cheers drowning jeers. I joined him on field. Mic trembling. Love wins ugly sometimes. But it wins. Kiss sealed. Defiant. Flashes popping. Dad in stands. Fist raised. Healing followed. Jagged. Lena faded. Sued for sabotage. We shuttled Philly Weeks Electric. Elmwood grounding. Dad visited once. Touring galleries awkward. Not bad. Haze. Gruff. But growth. Yet humanity's arc bends slow. One crisp November eve. Driving back from a joint exhibit. Truck hydroplaned on black ice, Philly to Ohio. Our rhythm. World spun. Metal screeching. Then black. Woke in hospital haze. Beeps. Mom's hand clammy. Nicky. Zachary's voice, hoarse, bandaged arm in sling. Crash minor, whiplash, cuts but terror scar deep. Thought I lost you, he choked, forehead to mine. Dad burst in, face ashen. Boys, no slur, just relief. We three, unlikely trinity, held vigil, barriers dust. Winter wrapped us in tentative grace, scars itching like new tattoos. Zachary's sling came off by New Year's, replaced by a sketch of the wreck, twisted metal blooming roses, titled Resurrection. We hung it in the loft, talisman against fragility. My designs flowed, freelance gigs blending his art with Midwestern grit, Mustang murals for Cleveland garages, pride banners fluttering Columbus streets. Money trickled, enough for a shared studio space straddling our worlds. Half Philly warehouse, half Elmwood garage conversion. Dad dove deeper into counseling, group for vets unpacking war's shrapnel. Jack's ghost finally buried. He shared one poker night, him, me, Zachary dealing, tension thawed to ribbing. You two, better men than us. Zachary's laugh rang true, cards slapping table, but his eyes held mine. We made this. Mom orchestrated family dinners, her diner pies the glue. Love's the real American dream, she'd quip, winking over apple crumble. Town evolved slow, fair mayor commissioning our collab float for next Pride, whispers turning to nods. But not all bent. Old-timers at the shop muttered, Dad shutting them down. My boy's life. End of. Spring green tentative. Zachary's solo show loomed, fractured lines, themes of betrayal and mend, me curating graphics. Prep consumed, late nights mocking layouts, his brush my palette. Lovemaking wove through, lazy mornings in sun-dappled sheets, urgent against studio walls, always laced with gratitude's edge. You're my north, he'd murmur, compass tattoo pressing my skin. Betrayal's echo faded, but paranoia lingered. Lena's lawsuit dragged, her counters claiming theft of shared vision. Depositions dredged old wounds. Her testimony painting Zachary as opportunist, me the naive sidekick. He used the boy's sob story for authenticity, she sneered in court vids leaked online. Rage simmered. I testified fierce. Art's truth. Ours was love. Judge ruled our way, restraining order. Her career singed. Victory tasted bittersweet. Zachary retreated, paints darkening. What if she's right? Dragged you through hell, pulled him close. Rain pattering windows, chose heaven, kiss deepened, reaffirming. Summer sizzled reconciliation. Dad invited us fishing Wabash River, dawn mist veiling hooks. Awkward casts turned tails. His nom horrors, Zachary's absent dad voids, my closet fears. Men break, Dad grunted, reeling perch. But glue holds, laughter bubbled, Zachary splashing me, Dad chuckling deep. Elmwood Fair redux, our booth mobbed, prints flying. Kid with wide eyes, you're the kiss guys, Zachary knelt. Yeah. Love's the best story. Autograph scrawled, be brave. Climax whispered in heat's haze. August banked hot. Zachary's energy fraying, night sweats. Sketches erratic. Just stress. He waved off my worry. But doctor's call shattered. Tests from a routine check. Lymph nodes swollen. Echoes of Rita's thief. Lymphoma. Early. Treatable, but the word cancer landed like buckshot renewed. World tilted. Loft felt cavernous. I paced, fists clenched. We'll fight, vow iron. He nodded, but eyes shadowed. What if? No. Kiss silenced doubt, but fear coiled. Told Dad over coffee, his mug stilling. Like Rita, voice gruff, but hand steady on mine. Boy's a fighter. Like you, he rallied. Drove us to specialists in Columbus. Waiting rooms his vigil, old magazines dog-eared. Jokes cracked to pierce tension. Chemo started brutal, Zachary hollowing. Blonde waves shedding like autumn. I shaved his head gentle. Our reflection bald and bonded. Sexy bald, I teased, tracing scalp. He grinned weak. Your turn. Laughter fragile, but real. Betrayal reared subtle, old doubts resurfacing. One fogged night, post-treatment nausea. He snapped, can't do this, dragging you down. Pushed me away, door slamming. Heart cracked. I crashed at Jamal's, tears soaking couch. He's scared, Jamal soothed. Love him through it. Dawn confrontation. Loft door ajar. Him curled fetal amid canvases. Sorry, whisper broken. I gathered him. Rocking, we're the story. No solos. Treatment ground on hair regrowing stubborn curls. Energy flickering back. Dad's shop became war room. Mechanics fabricating adaptive easels. Mom stocking care kits, ginger tea. Queer lit for distraction. Town pitched in. Fundraisers masked as art auctions. Proceeds chemo copays. Fall painted gold. Scans clean, remissions whisper. Celebration quiet. River picnic. Dad grilling trout. Us toasting with root beer. To surprises, Zachary said. Eyes bright. Dad clinked. Damn right. But humanity's not linear. Winter nipped heels. Zachary's energy waned again. Cough lingering. Flu, docs shrugged. Tests deepened, relapse. Aggressive. World grade. Climax crashed Christmas Eve. Snow blanketing Elmwood. Lights twinkling defiant. Our dash. Lungs flooding. Machines invading. Family huddled. Mom praying soft. Dad pacing. Me holding his hand. For cold against skin. Love you, he rasped. Voice bubble-trapped. Always. Doctors conferred. Experimental trial. Philly's cutting edge. Go, I urged, but his eyes, knowing, held mine. Stay. Here. Dad drove through blizzard. Truck steady. Loft felt tomb. I packed his favorites, sketches, my old hoodie. Trial started hopeful, drugs aggressive. Side effects fiercer. Weeks blurred. Hospital vigils. My designs paused. World narrowing to beeps and hopes. Betrayal's final twist. Not person, but fate's cruel jest. Scans march. Shrinking, then stasis. Time, Doc said gentle. We raged. Screams echoing halls. Zachary's fists bruising walls. Not fair. I sobbed into his chest. Bones sharp under skin. He softened last. Write our story. The real one. Pen trembling. I chronicled from shotgun kiss to this bed. Love's arc unbroken. Spring bloomed without him. Funeral riot color. Murals lining streets. His art alive. Dad spoke. Boy taught me forgiveness. For Jack. For me. Tears flowed free. I stood stoic. Sketchbook clutched. Our oak. Eternal. Summer sun mocked the void. Elmwood's roses rioting unchecked. I wandered the haze yard, now mine. Willed in Zachary's scrawl. Keep creating. Muse. Dad helped prune. Shears snipping memories. He was good for you. Gruff. But true, his therapy steady. New friends at group. Even a pride sticker on the truck bumper. Studio hummed solo. Fractured line series expanded. My graphics weaving his strokes with digital fire. Exhibits touring Midwest. Whispers of national buzz. Jamal and Theo crashed often, turning loft visits to Ohio into queer conclaves. Bonfires roasting marshmallows and manifestos. He'd approve, Theo said, sketching flames. Chaos eternal. Mom's dinners evolved. Space for grief. Room for growth. Find joy, baby, she'd urge, eyes twinkling over pie. Dated once a gallery curator. Kind eyes, but touch fell flat. Too soon, I admitted. She hugged. Time's the artist. Fall brought crossroads. Philly gallery headhunted. Full-time offer. Curate his legacy. Build new. Dad nodded over beers. Go. But visit trucks always tuned. Emotional. Raw. Lost too much to ghosts. Don't you? Packed light. Ohio roots potted for transplant. Drive east dawnlit. Radio crooning Thunder Road our anthem. Loft awaited. Canvases whispering welcome. First night alone. Unpacked his compass sketch. True north. Climaxes echo faded. But lessons etched. Betrayal taught boundaries. Lena's trial closed. Her apology letter shredded. Dad's hate? Forged to alliance. He even Skyped pride events. Fist-bumping screen. Proud. Son. Humanity bloomed in fragments. Mentoring queer artists in Philly. Workshops blending his wilds with my structure. One kid. Wide-eyed like that fair boy. Your story? Gave me courage. Autograph. Love wins. Always. Winter thawed to spring. 2 years marking his light. Elmwood visit. Oak sturdy. Fence long mended. Dad's handiwork. Roses tamed. Picnic under branches. Family expanded. Jamal grilling. Mom's pie. Dad's tales. Felt Zachary's grin in breeze. That night. Fire pit crackling. Stars winking. I sketched, not alone. But with him, lines merging. Story unfinished. Love's not linear. Not flawless, dramatic fractures. Emotional floods. Romantic fires. Humanistic scars. But in the glow, hearts collided eternal. Surprise ending? Not tragic void. But legacies bloom. Our story. Shotgun sparks to canvas eternities. Shocked Elmwood. Softened Dad. Ignited me. And in quiet moments, his whisper lingers. Keep going. Nikki. We're just starting.